Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the pre-mantra. Before the show gets started, just where I give y'all some of my daily mantras that I like to say, that I like to give to the universe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. The more you learn, the more you earn. Thereby, the more you earn, the more you learn. One of the greatest cycles you will ever implement. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be rich. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve to be free. I am a certified Wall Street trapper. I am confident in my abilities to make great investments. The market is a machine that prints money, and I am more than capable of operating this machine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. All right, let's get started. First stock we have up is NVDA. So on my show, I like to cover the $1 trillion companies and also SPY and the QQQ, because that's really where it's at when it comes to the market. There's some other outliers, but those are the ones that really matter the most when it comes to the market. And also the Dow Jones, but I'm not covering that. If you want me to cover it, put it in the comments. But if you just want me to stick to the $1 trillion companies and SPY and the Qs, that's what I'll do. All right, so NVIDIA, pre-market 186 right now, pre-market low of 184, and a pre-market high of 189. Apple, currently in the pre-market 278, with a pre-market low of 276, and a pre-market high of 278.91. Google, currently at 311.90 in the pre-market, with a pre-market low of 311.50 and a pre-market high of 314. Microsoft, currently at 490 in the pre-market, with a pre-market low of 488 and a pre-market high of 492. Amazon, currently 226.62 in the pre-market, with a pre-market low of 226.44 and a pre-market high of 227. Tesla, currently at 435 in the pre-market, with a pre-market low of 434 and a pre-market high of 438. Tesla, currently at 662 in the pre-market, with a pre-market low of 662.10. Well, the current price is 662.80, with a pre-market low of 662.12 and a pre-market high of 664. So I'm trying not to say all the change, because sometimes it really doesn't matter. But because I should have said the change, because the pre-market low was not lower than the actual current price. But anyway, that's why I said that. The VIX, currently at 1710, so it's back over 17. SPY, current price 683, with a pre-market low of 682 and a pre-market high of 684. QQQ, currently 622.83, with a pre-market low of 622.57 and a pre-market high of 624.90. Broadcom, AVGO, currently $398.70 with a pre-market low of $398.55 and a pre-market high of $401. TSM, currently $299.30 with a pre-market low of $299 even and a pre-market high of $303. Berkshire B, currently $497.45 with a pre-market low of $496.80 and a pre-market high of $497.91. All right, so I told y'all that I am going with the companies that have $1 trillion market values. So let me just go over the list and the market caps. So NVDA has a $4.5 trillion market cap. Apple, $4.1 trillion. Google, $3.7 million. Microsoft, trillion. Google, $3.7 trillion. Microsoft, $3.6 trillion. Amazon, $2.4 trillion. Broadcom, AVGO, $1.8 trillion. Meta, $1.6 trillion. TSM, $1.5 trillion. Tesla, $1.4 trillion. And Berkshire, $1 trillion. All right, let's check out some news. First one, we have a quick clip from Trump.
About the economy, sir, here at home, and I wonder what grade you would give
A plus.
A plus.
Yeah, A plus.
Well, it's
shout out to Trump, man. It's only a 10-second clip, but he said he gives the economy an A plus. Man, that is funny, man. Shout out Trump, man. All right, next piece of news we're looking at is from Unusual Whales. The Google CEO, Sundar, says, it's up to everyday people to adapt to AI wiping out jobs. We will have to work through societal disruption. That's interesting. So the CEO of Google said it's up to everyday people to adapt because this is happening and there's no turning back from the AI revolution. The AI will be wiping out jobs, and it's up to us, the everyday people, to learn enough about AI to be able to adapt. Because if we don't, jobs will be wiped out. Shout out to him for letting us know. Next piece of news is from Walter Bloomberg. U.S. President Donald Trump says his support for interest rate cuts will be a key litmus test for choosing the next Federal Reserve chair, according to a Politico interview published Tuesday. Trump plans to announce his nominee early next year and has hinted that NEC Director Kevin Hassett is a leading contender to replace Jerome Powell when his term ends in May of 2026. Hassett has repeatedly called for rate cuts and said the Fed will likely lower rates, possibly by 25 basis points, at its meeting on Wednesday. So rate cuts are good. I mean, it's gonna help out a lot of people, and also it's gonna help out the growth stocks in the market, including the hyperscalers and the trillion-dollar companies and the AI revolution. Another piece of news is from Yahoo Finance. Roughly 60% of Dollar Tree's new shoppers come from high-income households, which the company defines as earning over $100,000 a year. That's up 50%. That's up from 50% of new shoppers earlier this year in the first quarter, according to Dollar Tree CEO Michael Creedon. So 60% of Dollar Tree's Q3 25 Dollar Tree's Q3 2025 earnings revealed that 60% of its 3 million new shoppers come from households earning six figures a year. That is up 50%, up from 50% in Q1. This trend underscores a shift in discount retail, with high-income consumers trading down for value, mirroring patterns at Dollar General, which was up 2.5%, same store sales growth, and Five Below was up 14% as far as growth, despite rising consumer sentiment. Economic context includes 1.1 million U.S. layoffs year to date and mixed job data, driving dependency on dollar stores across demographics beyond traditional low-income bases. And I have this clip from Dan Ives on CNBC. Check it out.
Question as we head into 2026. I think many would describe you as a perma bull on the tech sector in the U.S. Anything change heading into 2026, or still pretty bullish on the space?
Look, the reality is it's still 10:30 p.m. that AI party that goes to 4 a.m. Because look, in my view, when you look at this AI revolution, it's now going to the second, third, fourth derivatives. Software, cybersecurity, infrastructure, power. And look, I think the bears, they're just going to continue to watch this party from the outside, looking through the windows.
Is it the hyperscalers that are going to continue to lead the AI trade, or are we going to see more diversification into other layers in 2026?
Yeah, look, it all starts with Godfather of AI, Jensen, NVDA, and now getting back into China. That's just another pop the champagne moment for them. But then you look at hyperscalers, you look at Microsoft, you look at everything that happened in Alphabet and Google. I mean, that's really been a massive turnaround story, right? I mean, I'd say the cab driver here in London was bearish on Google going into in the beginning of the year. Now, I mean, you're seeing it because, and I think you're just starting to see that in Amazon as well. But look, it's now going to spread use cases. That's why Messier by Palantir in terms of what we're seeing there, MongoDB, Snowflake. I think that's going to be the trend here as the derivative beneficiaries of AI spread.
Dan, given that thesis on the derivatives, how much longer do you think this tech bull run has to go?
2 more years.
2 more years.
I mean, and I think that's conservative.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to be talking about NASDAQ 25,000, 30,000 over the next 12, 18, 24 months. Look, this is a fourth industrial revolution. And someone like myself that covered tech stock in the late 90s, you'll hear all the comparisons. It's apples to oranges. We're talking about humanoid robotics, autonomous. The consumer AI revolution hasn't even started. That's going to go through Cupertino. I think that's why you're seeing Apple make those major changes. And now you're seeing a cooling of tensions in the U.S. and China. That's bullish in terms of AI trade.
Dan, in terms of 2 years, then sort of what, I guess, sort of pulls back that bull run, what derails it to some extent, in these cycles that we see in markets?
Yeah, look, we're going to have these white knuckle moments. I mean, you're talking about DeepSeek moment, Liberation Day, U.S. China, in terms of some of the sort of back and forth. NVDA, can they go into the U.S.? Can they go from the U.S. into China or not? But look, those white knuckle moments, those just create the opportunities to own the winners in AI. And that continues to be our view. Call it perma bullish, but the reality is I think investors are underestimating the scale and scope of what this tech trade looks like.
Carol's going to jump into the conversation.
All right, you heard it from Dan Ives. Perma bull, perma tech bull. We got 2 years conservative of the AI run, but he also said we're going to see the NASDAQ hitting 25,000, 30,000. So let's go, man. I'm a perma bull too. Let's get this money, man. All right, another piece of news we had is from Piper Sandler, Tesla near unsupervised FSD. Piper Sandler analyst Alexander Potter reaffirmed an overnight rating and $500 price target on Tesla. He noted Tesla is close to unsupervised full self-driving, citing the FSD community tracker, which shows a greater than 20x improvement in miles to critical disengagement after FSD v14.1 came out, the largest gain in more than 4 years. Yes, if you have a Tesla and you have done your latest software update, then you are able to see the version of FSD that the analyst at Piper Sandler was talking about. And actually, Tesla just gave everybody a free 30-day trial of the new FSD because they wanted to show everybody how much improvements they've made. And I myself have tried it out. And yes, it's wonderful. It's great. You know, Tesla's technology is superior to the rest of these car companies. You know, so a lot of people, they'll argue against that and they'll be like, well, what about Waymo? They already have autonomous vehicles and they're spreading out to more states now. Okay, I'll give you that. They do have cars already on the road, but have you seen those cars? Do they look fly? Do they look stylish? You know what I mean? Do they want to race? I don't know, man. Tesla just got way more swag, basically. And you know the thing is, those Waymos cost over $200,000 to make each. So one thing that Tesla is betting on is that the average, basically all Tesla owners, once unsupervised FSD comes out completely, that anybody who owns a Tesla will be able to push a button and turn their Tesla to fully unsupervised FSD, which will allow their Tesla to become a robo-taxi. So this will allow Tesla owners to go to work, and while they're at work, allow their car to be a robo-taxi and make money for them. And then their car can come pick them up at work when their work day is over. Now, Waymo can't do that. You can't even drive a Waymo, even if you own it. It's only autonomous. So I think that's a big lead that Tesla has. And I'm definitely a Tesla bull. Definitely love my Tesla car, and I'm a Tesla shareholder, so I'm a big Tesla bull. All right, 6:30. Market is open. Let's check it out. NVDA 185.41. Apple 278.44. Google 313.31. Microsoft 489.90. Amazon 226.03. Tesla 483.35. Meta 662.12. The VIX is at 718. SPY 683.30. QQQ is at 622.56. We just got a buy signal on a daily on McDonald's. Maybe we can go check out the McDonald's chart right quick. AVGO 396.40. TSM 299.11. And Berkshire B 498.45. Since we got that alert on McDonald's, let's go check out the McDonald's chart right quick. All right, let's go to the daily reset chart. Okay, so I already have some levels here. Looks like I haven't moved up my all-time high level since McDonald's all-time high was 317.90. So let me go ahead and move that up to the current all-time high, which is 326.32. Okay, so now that I've done that, let's check out this trend here. So as you can see, it's in the market trend is going higher highs and higher lows. It did have a lower high here, but it looks like it broke the latest higher high, so it's now in higher high mode. So now we just got to look for the next higher low to be above this higher low, which is 299.64. But I do have a monthly level here, so I'm really expecting the next higher low to just bounce off this monthly level at 304 and then head to the upside. Yeah, it's looking good, man. It's looking good. I would say wait until the market close to see if it closes over this level here, because it does have some resistance right here. So I would actually wait until a break over 313.75 to get into McDonald's to the upside. All right, let's check out the Fear and Greed Index. Fear and Greed Index is now at 31. What was it yesterday? I think it was 35 yesterday. So it's a little bit more fear in the market from yesterday. All right, let's check out some of our other companies that we like. Netflix. Netflix is currently at 96.81. It did break the pre-market low, but it bounced. Netflix had a horrible day yesterday. If you see this chart, it just dropped from the opening candle all the way down here. Goodness. That's not a good look for Netflix, man. So basically, Netflix got to figure out, are they going to be able to buy Warner Brothers or not? I was reading an article that was talking about Paramount is trying to do a hostile takeover when it comes to buying Warner Brothers. So basically, they're trying to offer more money than Netflix offered. And as a CEO of a company, you have to take that meeting, because it's up to you to supply the most value to shareholders. So even if you want to sell to Netflix, if Paramount offered a higher bid that will give the shareholders more money, then you have to take that meeting and see which is better for your shareholders. So, and then Trump also came out and made a statement about Netflix buying Warner Brothers. So yeah, it's not gonna be an easy. They just gonna buy it and own all that content. So yeah, that's Netflix. AMD had a pre-market high of 225 and a pre-market low of 221. It is currently 219. The Bitcoin is currently at 90,400. Ibit is at $51.30. Ethereum is at $3,117. BM&R is at $35.17. Palantir, $180.74. Hood, $134.76. Grab, $512. And this new ETF that I found, thanks to Joy Jenkins on Facebook. Salute to you. I appreciate you. Because I really like this ETF. This ETF is the top 50 stocks in the S&P 500. So let me tell you a little bit about this. So the expense ratio, it's not high, but it's not as low as some of the other ones like a SPYG or a VOO. But this is great because the stock price is $59 right now and 55 cents. It is very close to all-time high, so I'm not going to buy it right now, but it's definitely on my watch list, and I'm waiting for this to pull back. And I think I'm going to add this to my Roth. So we got to wait for the price to get down to $57.60 to even be 5% off. But I still don't want to buy it at 5% off. I'm going to make my first entry on this at $54.57 and another entry at $51.54. So I do have a weekly level here right above the 15% off level. So I think I'm going to probably go heavy at that 15% off. So let me tell you a little bit more about this. This ETF was established in 2005. It currently has 196 million shares outstanding. The top holdings are NVDA at 12%, Apple at 11%, Microsoft at 9%, Amazon at 6%, Google at 5%, Broadcom at 5%, the other Google at 4%, Meta 3.99%, Tesla 3.49%, Berkshire B 2.5%, JP Morgan 2.3%, Eli Lilly 2.2%, Visa 1.5%, Walmart and ExxonMobil at 1.3%. So that's the top 15 stocks in this ETF. And I think that's more than 50% of the ETF. So only the big dogs. And you see that weighting. I love it, man. I love it. I compare this to SPYG, an ETF that I found for a low cost that had great holdings. So SPYG, so I'm using a comparison tool on ETFDB. So if you want to compare ETFs, ETFDB is a good website to do that. And it compares everything about them. The holdings, the performance, the technicals. So, yeah, I just want to give you a rundown on SPYG right quick. SPYG's NVIDIA holding is number one as well, 13.84%. Apple, 5.9%. Google, 5.8%. Microsoft, same thing, 5.8%. AVGO. Oh, let me bring up the SPYG chart while we look at this. While I say these stats. As you can see, SPYG is close to the all-time high as well. This is the daily chart. Okay. Broadcom 5.7. The other Google 4.6. Meta 4.5. Amazon 4%. Tesla 3.9%. Eli Lilly 2.5%. Visa 1.75%. JP Morgan 1.5%. Berkshire B 1.4%. MasterCard 1.4%. and Netflix 1.3%. So that's their top 15 holdings. So as you can see, they're very similar. Yes, SPYG is my biggest holding in my portfolio as far as number of shares. And I think XLG will be for my raw once I start buying it. Okay, let's check out our heat map for today. Heat map. We have NVDA down 0.5%. Apple up over 0.5%. AVGO down 0.5%. AMD down almost 1%. Google down a little bit, almost break even. Meta down 1.6%. Amazon at break even. Walmart at break even. Tesla up a little bit. Eli Lilly up 1%. Johnson & Johnson up 1.5%. Berkshire B break even. JP Morgan up a little bit. Oracle at break even. Palantir down a little bit. Netflix down a little bit. ExxonMobil up 2.5%. I think that might be the biggest mover of the day, y'all. ExxonMobil. All right. Let's see what else we got. Do we have more news? I think we had some more news. Okay. Next piece of news we had San Francisco's mayor's downtown revival project has reeled in $60 million. So, the mayor of San Francisco, Daniel Lurie's Heart of the City initiative has raised over $60 million from donors including Google, OpenAI, Salesforce, and Amazon to revitalize downtown areas hit by post-pandemic vacancy and reduced activity. The project prioritizes street safety, small business grants for marketing and renovations, and a new Embarcadero Park modeled after Bryant Park to boost economic activity and tourism. Amid a 30% crime drop in 2024 and surging AI investments, the funding signals tech sector confidence in San Francisco's recovery, timed ahead of the 2026 events like the Super Bowl and FIFA World Cup. So that's the real reason that they're cleaning up that area of San Francisco, is because the Super Bowl is coming next year and the World Cup is coming next year. So they want to clean it up for everybody that comes from around the world to check it out, because they don't want it looking like trash like it does right now. The same way when I think it was the president of China had came to San Francisco and they cleaned it up. They got all the homeless people off the streets. But before the president from the other country that came over here, they didn't care how it looked. They was just letting all the trash be on the streets. They were letting all the homeless people have their tents there. And it was just looking like terrible. But that's interesting that they choose when to clean up and they choose when to let it look like trash. Okay, next piece of news was NVIDIA will be allowed to sell its H200 artificial intelligence chips to China after paying a 25% export fee to the United States.
President Donald Trump on Monday said NVIDIA will be allowed to sell its H200 artificial intelligence chips to China, but at a price. The U.S. government will collect a 25% fee for each chip exported, higher than the 15% floated in August. A White House official says it will be collected as an import tax from Taiwan, where the chips are made, before they undergo U.S. security checks and head to China. NVIDIA shares jumped after Trump's announcement on Truth Social, up 2% after hours following a 3% rise earlier on reports of the deal. Trump said he informed Chinese President Xi Jinping about the decision, and Xi responded positively, according to the Post. Trump added that the U.S. Commerce Department is finalizing details of the deal, and the same approach would apply to other AI chip firms such as AMD and Intel. The move appears to settle debate over whether American chip makers should sell to China or hold back to protect U.S. dominance in AI. However, critics in Washington say shipping high-end AI chips to China risks supercharging its military. Democratic senators criticized the decision, calling it a major economic and national security failure. Experts say NVIDIA's H200 is nearly 6 times more powerful than the H20, which is the most advanced chip currently allowed for export to China. But it's still slower than NVIDIA's Blackwell chips, which US firms use for AI training and development.
Okay, so that news came out, and then when I seen where is that one I seen? I had a meme that said, I can't find it. Never mind. All right. Oh yeah. So I seen this. So that was great news. That was great news for NVIDIA, right? I'm an NVIDIA shareholder, and I definitely want them to be able to sell to China, so they can make more bread. But so after that news came out, then I see this news from Walter Bloomberg. It says China to restrict access to NVIDIA S200 chips despite Trump export approval. China plans to limit access to NVIDIA's H200 AI chips even after why they call him former president like he ain't the president right now? Even after President Trump approved their export, regulators are considering a restricted approval process requiring buyers to justify why domestic chips cannot meet their needs. So China was like, man, we don't need that shit. We make our own chips, and they're not as good as his, but they will be soon. That's what China is like, man, we can't be dependent on the United States for the most powerful chips. Give us some time, we gonna make them over here. So because of that news, NVIDIA is down like 0.5% right now. It's currently at 184. So just when you never know what's gonna happen with the stock market. You get some good news from Trump, and then soon after you get China responding, we don't even want the chips. Ain't that some shit? Alright, next piece of news is from CNBC. As 2025 comes to a close, Meta's AI strategy remains scattershot, according to insiders and industry experts, feeding the perception that the company has fallen further behind its top AI rivals, whose models are rapidly gaining adoption in the consumer and enterprise markets. The article is detailing Meta's abrupt AI pivot from open source Llama models launched in 2023 to challenge close rivals to a secretive avocado project delayed to Q1 in 2026, sparking internal confusion over strategy and culture. Insider accounts reveal tensions from a $14.3 billion talent acquisition in June of 2025, including Scale AI's Alexander Wang, whose demo don't memo ethos clashes with Meta's collaborative norms, exacerbating disarray after Llama 4's underwhelming developer reception in April. Analysts at KeyBank Capital Markets highlights Meta's perceived lag behind OpenAI's GPT-5 and Google Gemini's 3 in market adoption, despite 70 to 72 billion in 2025 capex for AI infrastructure, raising questions on ROI amid rivals' rapid enterprise gains. I think we got a few more stories before we close it out. This is from Robinhood. Where is Bitcoin's bottom for 2025? Traders think there's a 29% chance of it being at 80K. And you can bet on the prediction markets on the Robinhood app, what will be the low for Bitcoin? Currently, most people think it's going to be 80,000, and there's less people think it's going to be 70,000, and then the lowest bet you can make is 60,000. Oh, we do have a small piece of news from Kathy Woods as far as Bitcoin. Here it is.
Bitcoin is behaving more like a risk-on asset. It has played the risk-off role at different times during the European sovereign debt crisis, during our regional bank crisis. But right now, it's risk-on. It is climbing another wall of worry, and that is the 4-year cycle. We think the 4-year cycle is going to be disrupted, and what I mean by that is Bitcoin regularly dropped 75 to 90% in its early days. The volatility is going down. It's down about 30 some odd percent, and I think there's a fear of the 4-year cycle. We think that the move by institutions into this new asset class is going to prevent much more of a decline. We may have seen the low a couple of weeks ago. Bitcoin is behaving more like a risk-on.
There it is. That was Kathy Wood's thoughts on Bitcoin. And then we had one more piece of news. Google, Google been going crazy. So they just released some updates for some of their products. So it says Google Labs announced updates to Mixboard, an AI visual brainstorming tool launched in September 2025, highlighting Nano Banana Pro for generating presentations from board content using advanced image models like Imagen 3. Oh, let me show you the demo while I'm reading this. The video demo illustrates seamless idea exploration from querying festive decorations to editing boards with doodles and exporting customizable slides, supporting new formats like PDF and multi-board organizations. User reaction emphasize efficiency in bridging ideation to pitches with playful nods to the quirky Nano Banana Pro name, positioning Mixboard as a creative alternative to tools like Notebook LM for visual thinkers. All right, so let's go over the stocks one more time before we get out of here, man. Okay, so the VIX is at 16.88, so it did drop because, remember in the pre-market it was up over 17. Let's put on a 1-minute chart so y'all can see. SPY is currently at 684.36. It's a little over break even. QQQ is at 622.81, a little bit under break even. Apple 279.48, it's up about 0.5%. Amazon 226, a little under break even. Google 312, down about 0.5%. Meta 654 is down $12, down 1.8%. Microsoft 490, it's about break even, a little under break even. Netflix a little under break even, is now at 96.69. NVDA is down almost 1% at 183.83. Tesla, it's up about almost 0.5%, a little over 0.5% at 442.68. AMD is down 1% at 118.88. Bitcoin is at 90,250. IBIT is at 51.22, down about 0.5%. Ethereum 3,116 is down a little bit. BMNR is down a little bit at 35.79. Palantir 181.73. It's up a little bit. Hood is up about 0.5% at 137.17. Grab 512 is down a little over 0.5%. And our new ETF that I definitely want to invest in is at about break even right now at 59.62. Oh, I missed ABGO is at 398.46. Is down a little over 0.5%. TSM is down a little over 0.5% at 299.72. And Berkshire B is up a little over break even at 498.35. Let's see if there's any big numbers on the heat map. ExxonMobil is now up 3.66%. I think that's the leader for today as far as these big companies in the S&P. Lilly's up 1.2. Johnson & Johnson is up 1.77. All right, that's it, y'all. I'm going to just play this song to end the show, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you learned something from the breaking news. I hope your stocks is going up. Hope your portfolio is running. It's been a great year. And today's song is brought to you by Matt Rich's AI51. This song is brought to you by Matt Rich's 510 AI Music. And it's called Blueprint to Wealth.
You gotta see wealth before it show up in your hands. Gotta believe in the dream before you touch the bands. If you don't invest in you, then who else will? Gotta move kings and queens, gotta know you build. Faith ain't just spiritual, it's financial too. Love moves on conviction, so believe it's true. Doors that was locked start opening wide when you trust in the process. The stars align. Step like a mogul, think like a boss, never move out of fear, gotta know what it costs. I was praying for a change, then I put in the work. Every play that I make, gotta triple my worth. Yeah, money don't chase you, confidence do. If you scared of the risk, then you losing the move. You gotta see wealth before it show up in your hands. Gotta believe in the dream before you touch the bands. If you don't invest in you, then who else will? Gotta move kings and queens, gotta know you build. Faith ain't just spiritual, it's financial too. Wealth moves on conviction, so believe it's true. Doors that was locked start opening wide when you trust in the process. The stars align. I can't beg for respect, I demand it instead. If you don't play the game smart, you just working for bread. These habits I build, turn thoughts into checks. When I move with belief, the world reflects. Wealth ain't luck, it's a daily decision. If you don't see it first, then it stay in the distance. Every door that was closed, I was kicking them down. Now my whole team up, we ain't playing around. You gotta see wealth before it show up in your hands. Gotta believe in the dream before you touch the bands. If you don't invest in you, then who else will? Gotta move kings and queens, gotta know you built. Faith ain't just spiritual, it's financial too. Love moves on conviction, so believe it's true. Doors that was locked start opening wide when you trust in the process. The stars align. We ride, we ride. Oh, we shine. Step like royalty, kings and queens. This the blueprint to wealth. This the song that we sing. dreams. It's the blueprint to wealth. It's the song that we sing. Yeah.
Peace, blessing, financial freedom. God bless y'all. Take care.